Someone said, "Oh, you got to upgrade your setup. You know, go to your laptop and use OBS to do the screen capture and all this kind of stuff." I'm like, as soon as they do that, I'll get kicked off. Not because of that, because I'm gonna show the door anyway. But it's just kind of the law that as soon as you do something like that, it's like you just get booted off the platform anyway. Here's a little FYI to the other small channels. I discovered how to quickly gain subs on Bitchute. If you're on Twitter anyway and you're responding to people, drop a link to, I don't know, one of your favorite videos. I have been doing that on Twitter, and you will pick up subs very, very quickly. I went from like 150 to 230 in 2 weeks, which doesn't sound like much, but for BitChute it's actually quite a bit. And I assume it'll work for YouTube also, but YouTube doesn't allow free expression, so I'm doing politics over on BitChute and doing pop culture stuff on YouTube. And I have to use some word substitutes because I'm getting letters from YouTube about age-restricting videos and vulgar, offensive content and that kind of thing. So if some of my word substitution sounds a bit iffy, blame YouTube, not me. So I saw this article, and at first it seemed like a whining cat. Seemed like a whining cat. But actually, he was raising some good points about the atmosphere of Marvel. If I understood it right, you've got a comic division that doesn't want the artist to push the comics, probably because in the era of political correctness, they don't want some stoned artist to say something insane in an interview. But if it was a smaller company, you would err more on the side of just get as much publicity as possible, and if he faux pas, so what? The sales are already low. Nobody expects much out of an artist anyway. They're not hired for their big brains. I mean, no offense, but most of the artists I have talked to have not been too bright. And they always seemed as emotional as women. Like, even in the Comicsgate guys, there's an element of Joe Glass and Mark Waid in them. It seems like artists and writers are very thin-skinned, even when they're 250 pounds of lard. So you got a big business like Marvel, but it's actually a small division of a much bigger business. But Marvel Comics doesn't seem like it cares about individual titles selling as long as the IP stays active. But the creative team very much wants to sell. Nobody wants to sell 30,000 copies of something. Besides the money, there's a matter of pride and enthusiasm. Working on something like Captain America with Ta-Nehisi Coates, what a pig lover that gentleman is. Go scroll through his old Twitter sometime. I did a video about that a long time ago. He is an actual racist, an actual one, not one who just not. People use that term so loosely. And no, I'm not afraid of defamation, the defamatory statements of fact, because I have his old Twitter screen capped. Go scroll through it. I don't think he took it down. He said some very interesting things about extinguishing large groups of people, and he's the media darling. He's the far left darling because the soft bigotry of lowered expectations and rules just do not apply to Ta-Nehisi Coates. Where's I going with this? And many working on these comics like Captain America, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, whatever, all these other rereads and the Black Panther spinoffs. Not even Black Panther, the spinoffs, the Shuris. How do you be enthusiastic about stuff like, oh, hey, I'm writing Miss Marvel? Why? Does someone have a gun to your head? Are you in someone's basement and they've literally forcing you? Oh no, I just really want to write. No, you don't. That's just effing weak. They're writing comics so boring that they wouldn't even give them to their kids. Their kids would have to pretend to enjoy the comics. You know that they're going to lose them as soon as possible. Oh, sorry, Dad. I don't know what happened to that signed edition of Captain America where Captain America is depressed for 20 pages. Oh, sorry, Dad. It's not in the backyard. Used as target practice for my pellet gun. Kirkman actually raises some good points here. He says he raises good points, but he kind of comes across as, like I said, a little bit of a whiner. And if you're in the media, if you're in any industry, man, you want to be real careful about talking bad about people you work with. You want to just, man. It seems like professionalism has left the Western world a few decades ago. where if you didn't have something, I mean, you're in this industry. If you don't have something nice to say about somebody, you'd phrase it like, he says, Brevoort he got along with really well. He's got glowing stuff to say about him, but Quesada he didn't get along with. I say, hey, we didn't always see eye to eye, but I respect his drive in the industry. And then you move on to saying, move on to something like that. So you let people know, like, yeah, we didn't see eye to eye. But that's all you say. You always want people to say, oh, he acted like a class act. He always kept it classy. He's always gonna, like, we can have private discussions, but they're never gonna like publicly disclose private facts to use against me in an underhanded way. They're always gonna behave like a lady and a gentleman, and just like the harshest criticism will be, we didn't always see eye to eye, and we didn't think we could properly give you the product you wanted by working together. So, we parted like gentlemen or something. You know what I mean? Always act like that. Never, because people realize if you stab one person in the back, you don't have to be a genius to look at the situation and say, what's keeping this person from stabbing me in the back? So anyway, where's I going with this? Nobody wants to sell 30,000 copies is what I'm saying. Okay, Kirkman reads some good points. He says, I can help generate some enthusiasm for these dog poop comics. Let's try to act like businessmen and actually sell them. But for some reason, Joe Quesada tells him to go away harshly. I guess I could just age restrict the comics. I mean, anyway. In contracts, there's an old phrase, in good faith and in fair dealing. It means to behave as a reasonable person under similar circumstances. All the people working on comics assume that the company is going to use good faith to sell their stuff. And as an outsider, we look at these companies, we think, oh, hey, it's a $200 million company. It's full of smart people. I assume that they know what they're doing. And like I was thinking the other day, if you gave me 6 smart people or 6 people who weren't as smart but who were passionate, because you can't fake passion, you can't buy passion, and you say, oh, okay, I want you to run this business, I want you to make a comic book, I want you to tell a story, I want you to make a TV show, I want you to come up with a product, I want you to do something. Well, if you give me passionate people or smart people, I can make it happen. Because I don't have to be the smartest person in the room, because I know how to collect smart people. And I know how to get the best from people who are smarter than me. We can make something happen. But you can't make it happen, no matter how smart or passionate you are, if there's an elephant in the room that you must avoid. It's like, I won't go there. Anyway, but obviously even big companies go out of business, and they go out of business faster when they have to operate under the rules of political correctness. Usually you focus on selling the customer what they want, but woke comics focus on trying to sell people items that they don't want. So they lose a lot of their male base, but they think, oh, we'll just pick up a new female base. Except it has not yet happened. So the companies aren't really operating in good faith. They're selling fewer items so they can push propaganda, but everyone who works there is suffering. And I guess if you're working in comics, you're probably more concerned with ideology than selling fun comics. The microcosm of comic creators is the most petty, vile, racist, sexist, vindictive, intolerant group of bigots who I have ever expected to see out of an insane asylum. When someone extinguishes their partner in the heat of passion, we can all understand that motive. But people like Mark Waid boggle the mind. He tried to destroy another creator who was indirectly competing with him. That sickness I just don't understand. That's something children do. And I don't mean to single out Waid. I mean, there are many other fat weirdos in comics, but Waid is just so fat and ugly, so he kind of sticks out in my mind. And there's just something so Toad-like about him. See, I can insult Waid, but I would never try to hurt him physically or interfere with his business. These weirdos have fantasies of beating us up at cons. Our fantasies involve staying as far away from them as possible. Most of us don't want to confront any of these weirdos. We want them away from us, on the other side of the con, while we're over here with the normies drinking beer and having fun. Anyway, so we want to make fun of developmentally. See, that just doesn't have the same sting as saying the opposite of advanced. See, in physics or in car mechanics, like when you want to advance or retard a spark or something, or what is it called, that timing, use a flash gun to advance or slow it down. That's what that word means, like wavelengths in physics, but you just can't, you have to say developmentally disabled. Well, won't that just turn into the next slur? And the next joke was, we want to make fun of retarded comics and even more retarded writers. But now that's age restricted the video. Thanks, YouTube. You know, a lot of these guys should, I was going to say join Comicsgate, but I realized that they just can't. But they should at least come talk to us like the adults we all are. Yeah, I realize this video is a mess, but it's 10 minutes in, and if you look at the YouTube stats, very few people get to the 10-minute mark, so I think I'm cool. And a lot of stuff with YouTube is just, if you are listening, you're a small content creator, just put something out there on YouTube. And here's a weird correlation I notice with at least my videos, is videos that are really kind of milquetoast stuff, like this video just talking about something in the industry, will get subs. Maybe not a lot of views and likes, but people will sub to it. And the videos that are very divisive and cause controversy and have people fighting in the comments will get views and likes and downvotes and a lot of interaction, but they won't get subs. So it's something to consider. So if you're like, YouTube is not about knocking stuff out of the park and you think, oh, it's because stuff doesn't go viral on YouTube. It's just about consistently putting out something that doesn't suck every day or almost every day. Just my 2 cents. So I think it's kind of weird how these SJWs are so angry all the time. I mean, these guys like won't interact with Comicsgate guys or come on the shows. And I'm not even saying going on EVS's show, because I realize he's very spicy to the point of like he'll probably sacrifice a good interview just to get clicks and likes. I mean, go on like John Malin's show, go on Cecil's. Like if you're someone in the industry, a big name, find John Malin, Cecil, Mike Miller, Doug TenNapel, like these other guys who have like the second tier channels are not as big, Tug, Yellow Flash, and they're going to give you a more, like, talk to them beforehand and say, hey, can we just like talk like adults and not like no gotcha questions. I don't want to fight. Let's just talk. Like, I promise to be reasonable. You promise to be reasonable. We'll deal with each other in good faith and fair dealing. And with Tug, Yellow Flash, Malin, Cecil, Mike Miller, Doug TenNapel, like everyone pretty much but EVS is going to give you that promise and be above board. Or EVS, if he's buying, the thing is he's so used to having an audience that he's pandering to his audience. He's not talking to you, he's talking to his audience. So I would stay away from him for a little while until you get some experience. Anyway, so I realized like they can't join Comicsgate, but they could come on live streams and talk about where you think the industry is going, or even if they want to talk politics, you can talk about very divisive political issues as long as you are adult about it. And, you know, at some point you're just going to have to say, well, we agree to disagree. You're not going to convince me on abortion, or I'm not going to convince you on some other issue. It's just, you know, find the similarities and not the differences. And with these people, they're all artists and writers, and they're selling comic books. We'll talk about that. And even if you want to crowdfund your own Soy Boy Comics for Pussies, where every issue will be some trans Muslim Jew fighting Hitler. Damn it, there goes the video. So the petty BS that these people fight over, it makes me laugh. Haven't you guys ever faced real tragedy, beat cancer, or survived some dangerous injury? Because after the S hits the fan a few times, kvetching spurgery, like fighting over politics, is just disabled bundles of stickery. By the time you hit 40, you know life is short. It is way too short to try to destroy someone's life over politics. Politicians come and go. In another 4 years, this guy will be out of office and another a-hole will be in office. And if you're fighting over your family over politics, oh, you stop that right now. I gay Ron F&T it. You'll regret it. Blood is very much thicker than water. I hope the SJW idiots do great by giving people what they want. I want the same for Comicsgate, because the customer gets what he wants. The difference between Comicsgate and the soy people is Comicsgate wants to give you what you want, Marvel wants to give you what they want. It is a fundamental divergence in philosophy, misspelled. Anyway, Kirkman sounds like he would be happier selling via the crowdfunding method. He's a guy with passion for his product, but Marvel says that he can't help sell it. That's nonsense. Joe Quesada, he does live streams, and I go in there every once in a while, and I ask reasonable questions. I wasn't trolling, I will admit when I am, but he kept timing me out for asking some basic questions. And that's the thing with SJWs. They have to stick to a narrative, but it's based on feelings. So when you question it, they respond with ad hominems every single time. Hey, Joe, can we talk about the revolution against woke comics and the rise of Comicsgate? Why do you think Comicsgate and crowdfunding in general has blown up? But Quesada can't talk about it because it's a house of cards. He'd have to admit that woke stuff doesn't sell, which begs the question, then why are you trying to sell it? Because he's trying to sell propaganda to a fan base that doesn't exist for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Leave a comment. Or, if you want me to edit your Comicsgate project, you can email it to me. Or send me a link, something like that. Want to support the channel? You get my PayPal, Patreon, coffee. And someone just gave me money on coffee the other day. That was kind of nice of them. Or my P.O. Box if you want to send me something. Anyway, guys, I will see you all next episode.